How do we develop a sense of belief? What I'm hearing you say is belief is one of the most important things we can have
It
in
is
ourselves.
major. It's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process. One, I encourage people to read at a minimum of 30 to 40 pages of something positive every day to program your mind. And all of us can do that. We can go to the library and check out books. When I think about Og Mandino, who wrote The Greatest Salesman in the World, he was on the verge of committing suicide. Went to the library, read the book Think and Grow Rich, and his life turned around. So reading and programming ourselves, the reason that most people should do that, psychologists say that 86% of our self-talk is negative, and it goes undetected by the conscious mind. That's why we're taught, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Listen to recordings and things that are positive. Go on YouTube and find things that will begin to empower you. And minimize the distractions in your life. We have so many distractions. The weapons of mass distractions cause most people not to begin to live their lives from the inside out, but from the outside in. You know, there's an African proverb that said, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. Shakespeare said, the forte of Brutus is not in our stars, but in ourselves, and we are underlings. So you have to program yourself, or your mind will be programmed. The other thing is that have goals that's beyond your comfort zone, because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. You've got to become a risk taker. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you can't grow. And if you can't grow, you can't become your best. And if you can't become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? And the other thing is upgrade your relationships. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. You've got to look at the people in your life and ask, what is this relationship doing to me? There are many people, because of the toxic, negative, energy-draining people in their lives, they will never be successful, because those toxic relationships will compromise their power. There's a new term in psychology, in psychiatry, called relational illness. There's some people that can make you sick. Now, some people might say, Les, can we change them? No. It's a full-time job changing yourself. And there's some people that's so negative, they can walk into a dark room and begin to develop. Oh, behave. You're a little slow. That's all right.
I heard it. I got it. I went to photography class in high school where we used to have the developing stages.
They don't do that
anymore. They don't do it anymore.
No,
yes.
Polaroid. You know, yes.
I like it, man. I'm curious about. I've been researching for the last couple of years about masculinity. This topic about masculinity and what it means to be a better man. I'm curious your perspective on what the definition of masculinity is to you. You know, you've had an interesting upbringing without a father figure. You're a father.
I borrowed Mr. Washington.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And he was a good example. I read a book by Sidney Poitier called The Measure of a Man. To me, a man takes responsibility. A man provides and protects his family. A man builds a legacy. I saw an interview with Steve Harvey, and it was really powerful.
He's great.
He went to the hospital with a friend of his to visit his grandmother, who was hospitalized, his friend's grandmother. And so his friend's grandmother asked him, hey, do you know your great-grandfather's name? And so this young man said no. And she said, because he didn't leave you anything. If he had left you something, you would know his name. A good man leaves a legacy for his children and for his children's children. I'm a grandfather, and I'm a great-grandfather of 3 sons. So I'm building a legacy. My children are all involved in the business. And I believe that as a man, that you hold yourself to a higher standard, even though I have not always done that. When I was younger, I was a different person than I am now. I'm not wearing any crown. I'm like the lady who said, Lord, I ain't what I want to be. ain't what I'm going to be, but thank God I sure ain't what I was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I have 10 children, 5 boys and 5 girls. When the Lord say, be fruitful and multiply, I took him seriously.
You took advantage of it,
That's
yes.
right. I'm a baby Christian. I haven't saved that long. A lady hugged me the other day. I said, I'm a baby Christian. Back up. Okay. and so you learn things, and you grow and you evolve. And my sons are very good fathers. I said, I wonder where you guys got that from. It's, come on, Dad, we got it from you. I said, well, I got a lot of flaws. I said, Dad, nobody's perfect, and we love you, just as you are, unconditionally. And so to me, a man has compassion, sensitivity. I'm very emotional. And you care, you love, and you feel that you want to live a life that has made some impact. It was, Goethe said, don't ask what the meaning of life, ask what is the meaning of your life. And to me, a man desires to live a meaningful life. So many young people, young men today, because we live in an entertainment-driven culture, that they don't have a vision of themselves or what it takes to be a man. I studied Mr. Washington. He was one figure that I looked at, and how he held himself, how he spoke, how he dressed. And I said, I want to be like that when I become a man. I want to live my life in such a way that my mother would say, I'm proud of Leslie, that my children would say, I'm proud of you. Somebody asked me the other day, what has been your greatest accomplishment? You've won all the top awards in speaking. You've spoken to over 80,000 people in the Georgia Dome, 30,000 in Poland. What has been your greatest accomplishment? I said, when my children got together and said, Daddy, when you're in pursuit of the dream and all those special occasions that you miss, we were angry with you. But when we see what you have accomplished, we've graduated from college with no student loans. When we see the sacrifice, the price of what it takes to make a dream happen, and how you started with so little, we're so proud of you. And we want you to know that. That, to me, was the greatest achievement that I've had. I spoke about 3 weeks ago in Detroit, and my second oldest son, Patrick, was with me, and he said, you know what? You're a special guy.
Wow.
You're a special guy. For you to come in here and speak to these people and train, and they didn't pay you anything, and you spoke to them and gave them everything you had as if you had received a check. He said, you're a special guy. I admire you. When your children tell you they admire you, that to me is special. And they work with me and now love the work that I do, and they're taking it on. That to me is
powerful.
special. Yes.
Is there anything that you wish you didn't do?
Yes. I wish I had not waited 14 years. Somebody said, if you want to lose something, lose money. You can get that back. 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. Walt Disney filed bankruptcy 7 times and had 2 nervous breakdowns. But don't lose time. There were 14 years I sat on the sideline. 14 years I said, I don't have an investor in me like Tony Robbins. 14 years that said, I don't have an MBA or a PhD, and I can't compete with these guys. I have the complexion of rejection. 14 years I silenced myself.
Wow.
And so I regret that, because there are some people that maybe if they'd heard my voice, they would not have turned to drugs. If they'd heard my voice, their lives would have taken a different direction. And I can't get those 14 years back. That haunts me, and I think that drives me when I speak with such energy. I'm trying to make up for that time, but I can't.
Well, I feel like you're doing a pretty good job at it.
Thank you.
You're making a big impact. I'm curious, I don't know if anyone's ever asked you this or if you've already addressed this before. And I'm assuming your biological parents have probably passed. I'm
Yes.
assuming.
Yeah.
Maybe they've been still around. But if they were just happen to be here in the moment, and they happen to be standing in front of you, fully aware of everything and realize that you were their son, would you ever share anything with them or say anything to them that?
You know what I wonder? It's interesting you should ask me that question, because I saw this thing on television about ancestry and give them a swab in your mouth and
Yes.
they can tell you
Where you're from
and all that. I'm curious, and it always happens to me when I speak. There are things that my children are doing in speaking that I didn't teach them. They got it from me. I wonder, what did my father do? And I wonder what my mother did. Where did I get this gift from? I don't know. I know that there are moments when I speak that it's not me. There's something that happens. There's some part of me that I know that's them. And I wonder which one I got it from. And what did they do? I wonder about that. It's not some burning desire in me. I've met people who've been adopted or foster kids. I was a foster kid first before I was adopted. And where I'd like to say, why did you leave me? Why'd you all come back for me?
Yeah.
But that gets me because of the fact that there's something that a part of me that they deposited in me at the cellular level that has caused me to be able to go out and transform people's lives and live this life. And so for a long time, I used to say I'm here because, and I said it today unconsciously, because of two people. One gave me life and one gave me love. But I'm here because of three people. Two gave me life.
Yes, exactly.
It was not immaculate conception.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't do that anymore. It said my birth mother was in Florida, and she was in a part of Florida where they were chopping sugar cane, and she met this guy from Jamaica, and he fixed some curry chicken for her, and she got pregnant.
Right.
Something in the curry, all right? So. So I'm here because of three people, the sperm donor, my birth mother, and Mrs. Mamie Brown, that God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. But I would ask to say, did y'all see each other anymore?
Right.
Or did y'all talk about us? Or were you ever curious as to whatever happened to us? And one of the things that happened, my mother told us that a neighbor, Mr. Moss, said, Mamie, you've always said you wanted a child. Well, there's a lady, she has some twins. She's in Liberty City, and she don't want to separate them. She wants someone who will take both of them. So she said, I'll take both of them. So he drove her out to Liberty City, 62nd Street, Northwest 17th Avenue. And she said when she went into this house, lights were off, there was a mattress in the back, and she saw this woman, had shoulder length hair. They looked a lot alike, and she had Wesley and I in her arms in a light blue blanket. And she said, "Are you the lady?" Our birth mother said, "Are you the lady that will take both of my boys?" And she said, "Yes." And she said, our mother said to her, "Listen, my husband was away in World War II. He's coming back home, and I got pregnant, and he will kill me if he knew that I got pregnant while he was away.
Wow.
Will you take them?" And so Mama said, "Yes. Are you sure?" And she said, "Yes." And she said she gave us to her, and they started walking out the door, and she came outside and followed her, and she opened the door for Mama, and Mama got in with Wesley and I in her arms, and she closed the door, and she leaned over and she said, "Your mother kissed you both on the forehead one more time."
Wow.
And then she hit the door. She said, "Go." And when Mr. Moss was cranking the car to leave, she said, "Wait, wait." And she said, my heart started beating fast. And she said, I thought she had changed her mind. And she said, "You promised, you swear to God, you will take care of him." And she said, "I swear." "And you won't separate him?" She said, "I swear." And she hit the car again and said, "Go, get the hell out of here."
Wow.
And Mr. Moss smashed on the gas and left. And she said, as I held you and looked at you, and so God has blessed me with twins. That's something?
Powerful.
Yes.
Amazing.
I'm so grateful that she chose us with love.
It's powerful. I want to ask a few more questions. This has been really inspiring, and I already know people are going to be talking about this a lot. I want you to imagine for a moment that this microphone and headset is connected to every person in the world has a headset on, and they can hear what you're about to say. And they can hear in their own language. It's translatable. A baby can understand it. Anyone in any language. And everyone puts their headphones on right now, and you turn on the mic. What's the message you would share with the world?
I do this in my training. I said, if you had a message to the world, I would say, you have greatness in you. I don't know you, but here's what I know based upon my own experience. You have greatness in you, that you have the ability to do more than you could ever begin to imagine. You have greatness in you, that as you think about yourself, I'm reminded of the words of Howard Thurman, who said, there's a presence in each and every one of us that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. It will be perhaps the only God you will ever have or hear. And if you cannot hear it all of your life, will it be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls? When you recognize your greatness, no one will ever pull your strings. You are different. You were created on purpose with a purpose to manifest that purpose through you. You are made in the likeness and image of God and been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. But you will never exercise authority and dominion over your life until you exercise authority and dominion over what you are not. Most people go through life living the lie that has been told about them. And we are encouraged, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Work constantly to renew your mind, to expand your vision of yourself, to hold a vision of yourself, living in the future, living a life of contribution. He said, I'll give you all your eyes can see. Greater is he that is in you than he that's in the world. There's something in you that's greater than your circumstances. There's something in you that's greater than the adversities that you're facing. Life is just like Forrest Gump said, a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. In life, you're either in a problem, just left one, or headed toward one. You have greatness in you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I like that one. That's a good story. What's the question you wish more people would ask you that would actually help create more transformation in the world with your answer?
Who am I really? Who am I really? Dr. Carter G. Woodson, which I think is one of the most profound thinkers that I've ever read, and he said, if you can determine what a man shall think, you'll never have to concern yourself with what he will do. He said, if you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. He'll go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. And so we have to begin to ask ourselves, who am I? MIT did a study. If I say to you, you can't do that, somebody else has to come along and say, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it 17 times to neutralize that one time.
Wow.
So most of us are living a lie. Most of us, because we live in a world where we're told more about our limitations rather than our potential, we go to our graves never knowing who we really are. That's why they say most people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65. Who are you really?
What is the thing you think about the most during the day?
How much time I have left? Can I, with the time that I have left, inspire young men to pull their pants up? With the time that I have left, to eliminate HIV, hood-infected virus? The time that I have left, eliminate AIDS, addiction to incarceration and death syndrome? Can I, with the time that I have left, amplify and train and multiply voices of hope and create a better world? Do I have enough time to do that? I almost died a year ago, And I believe God gave me grace. and we all have an expiration date. So I'm cranking it up at 72. I'm
inspiring.
working harder. Yes, that's what I want. There's no success without successors. So I'm determined for people that are hungry to make a difference. I'm determined for those who can hear my voice, to inspire them, to train them, to pour into them everything that I've learned. And I know that what I've done is only a tip of the iceberg of what they're going to do. Young men like you. And I feel blessed to be in your presence.
That's amazing. So do I. How can I support, and how can we support you?
You're doing this now. And help me find that 77 hungry people.
I got you. I got a lot of them. I'm sure there's a lot of them listening.
I don't know. Yes, you're doing it now. I feel so blessed to be in your presence. I mean that sincerely. Because Mr. Washington said to me, Mr. Brown, love, inspiration, and motivation are perfumes you can't sprinkle on others without getting a few drops on yourself. He said, live a life of contribution. Decide that you are going to live your life in such a way, as Horace said, you should be ashamed to die until you've made some major contribution to humankind. And I want to find other people who have that kind of magnificent obsession, who have that kind of conviction about their lives, who want to make that kind of mark with their lives. And you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You know, you could be labeled educable mentally retarded like me. I remember going back to Booker T. Washington High School, and Mrs. Eve, one of the teachers I had in special education, she wrote a book called My Most Famous Retarded Student. That's proud.
You just got to be hungry.
You got to be hungry. Yes,
That's for sure.
yes. People that are hungry believe always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. People that are hungry believe do what you know, not what you feel. People that are hungry have zero excuses for not pursuing their dreams. They know their vitamin, and they come back again and again and again. They operate like Willie Jolly, who said that a setback is a setup for a comeback. I've got a saying, if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
Ooh, I like that.
I want you to look at something right now. Think of some major goal you want, or maybe it's one you're already working on, and you have experienced a lot of setbacks, a lot of defeats. You've experienced a lot of disappointment. Maybe you've already given up. And maybe you just need a little fire, a little encouragement to get back in the game again. Here's what I want you to look at. There are winners, there are losers, and there are people who have not discovered how to win. And all they need is some coaching. All they need is some help and assistance, just a little support. All they need is some insight or a different strategy, a plan of action to make some adjustments that will open up the key to a whole new future for them, that will give them access to the unlimited power that they have within themselves. That's all that they need. So what I want you to do is think about something you want for you, that's real for you, that's important for you, that will give your life some special meaning and power. And I don't even want you to say, I can do that. I don't want you to assume that. See, 5 years ago when I started out in this area, I would not have been able to make the mental leap that I would be up to where I am right now. I don't want you to begin to just psych yourself out. No. I want you to be able to say something to yourself that will enable you to maintain a level of integrity with yourself. That when you say this, even when you face tremendous setbacks, it will be a benchmark to keep you in the game, to keep you moving forward and experimenting and readjusting your strategy and your plan of action, continuously looking for ways to win. So what is that something? When you got an idea you want to move on, you might not have the money, you might not have the education, you might not have the support or the resources you need. What is that something that can keep us going, that will enable us to act on our dream? What's one of those keys that will begin to help us to discover the secrets to our dream? Here's what I want you to repeat after me, please, with power and conviction. Say, it's possible. That's all I want you to do when you look at your dream. Just say to yourself every day, it's possible. Just say that every day to yourself. It's possible. Because what does that do? See, it begins to change your belief system. See, the way in which we operate, ladies and gentlemen, it's a manifestation of what we believe, what's possible for us. Whatever you've done up to this point, all that it really is a duplication, it's a reproduction of what you believe subconsciously that you deserve and what's possible for your life. Most people operate out of their personal history, out of their memory, things they have done, things they've experienced, things they've seen, things that they have observed. What I'm suggesting that you operate out of a larger vision of yourself. I want you to see yourself doing what you want to do, experiencing what you want to experience, having what you want to have, doing what it is that gives your life some meaning and value. Operate out of your imagination, not your memory. Because whenever you look at where you want to go, I'm wanting to warn you, you will have some conversation back here after you go through the data that you've experienced in life saying you can't do it. And so what you want to begin to do is ignore that inner conversation. Well, most people, ladies and gentlemen, when something happens to them, what they do is they begin to believe that that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. And they can't see the possibility of it being any different. Example, before April 1954, the common belief, the universal belief, because it had been tried again and again and again and people had failed, the belief was that man was not physically capable of breaking the 4-minute barrier, that he could not run a mile in less than 4 minutes. That was the belief on the planet. It had never been done. But here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Roger Bannister came along and he broke the 4-minute barrier. Now here's what's significant about that. Since that time, up to this day, over 20,000 people have done it, including high school kids. What changed? 20,000 people, what changed? Here's what happened when they got on the track. They knew it had been done. And because they knew it had been done, there was a new belief about this barrier, about this goal that was unreachable. And those 20,000 people got in a race believing, knowing in their heart that someone had done it, that it's possible, that they could do it. And I'm saying that if you know anybody that had some goal, some dream, something they wanted to do, and they did it, then I'm saying that you know in your heart that if someone has done it, then you can do it. It's possible. And that if someone can make their dream become a reality, that it's possible that you can make your dream become reality. And so as you begin to look at where you want to go, beginning to embrace that, it's possible. I'm blessed and highly favored. I've got a lot going for me. I got some good stuff in me. And it's possible that I can bring my greatness out here in the universe. That I can do what I want to do. It's possible I can write my own book. I can have my own business. I can take the trip and travel around the world. It's possible. I can bounce back from adversity and reinvent my life. It's possible. Regardless of where I am, the things can get better for me. It's possible. I'm thinking about two men right here in Chicago who are fairly successful, similar background, educated. They worked for a corporation for many years, and they were among many people that were laid off. Two guys who were very good friends. One went out looking for a job for several weeks along with the other one, and they faced disappointment and rejection again and again and again. They couldn't find any work, which is the story of many people across this country. One guy stopped. He became discouraged. He stopped going. He stayed home looking at television, became very argumentative and toxic with his wife, drinking beer, getting on the phone, talking to his other negative, unemployed friends. And he just gave up. The other guy kept looking for a job everywhere he could go. Every time he could get an opportunity, kept asking people, networking, checking the newspapers every day, kept going everywhere he could, trying to find a job. You have too much education. You're overqualified. You won't be here long enough. He kept going. He kept going. He went to a place and said, look here, I tell you what, if you can't hire me, and I know you can use my talents, abilities, and skills, I don't want to sit home and do nothing. Just let me do some volunteer work. You don't have to give me anything, all right? I just want to work. I want to be busy. Guy said, okay, it's on you now, but don't expect me to give you anything. It's okay. This guy came in and worked. He was the first one there. The last one to leave was the best employee there. About 4 weeks later, one of the top managers quit. They were looking for a replacement. Guess who they selected? This other guy. This guy who was volunteering his time. He got the job. What was the difference between the two men? Eyesight and mindsight. Eyesight is judging on what you see, judging according to appearances. But mindsight is how you interpret what you see. One guy said, it's not possible, it's over, I'm finished. I can't do it. I can't make it. He surrendered. I've faced rejection again and again. I'm not going anymore. There are no jobs out there. But this other guy, he felt that in spite of the no's and rejections, in spite of how bad the economy is, in spite of what the newspapers are saying, that it's possible that somebody somewhere will give me a job. He just kept going, thinking it was possible. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's what we have to do with our dreams. Because things happen to you in life that you can never, ever anticipate. And many times when those things happen, you want to give up. I remember when I was in broadcasting, when I was a disc jockey, I became very controversial, not only being a disc jockey, but I felt that radio was something that you not only entertain people with, but you also empower them, you educate them. And I got fired. I didn't just leave, they fired me. That was a shock. I said, wait a minute. They took my microphone. I thought that was who I was. No, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't. I had to do something else. And I didn't know what else I could do. See, here's what I'm looking at. What are the uses for your life right now that you haven't even reached for yet? See, I believe that when you don't have enough encouragement to act on your dreams or ideas, or you're not enlightened enough, that life will act on you. See, life had moved on me and said, Les Brown, you have outgrown this. It's time for you to do something else. Well, I wasn't enlightened enough. I organized some disc jockeys and got my job back. So they had to fire me again. I got fired twice. Here's what I did. I had to think of something else. And so a guy suggested to me, he said, Les, why don't you run for office? I said, man, I've never run for office. I've never known anything about how to operate in the political arena. I've heard encourage people to register to vote and get out to vote, but I don't know anything about politics. He said, well, neither do the people who run for office all the time. So I ran. Now here's what I'm suggesting. I ran. You got to do what you can where you are with what you have. I didn't have any money. I didn't know anything about the political process. I didn't even have any support. But here's what the guy told me. It's possible you could win. That's all I had. I was running against an endorsed candidate. He was an incumbent. He had the newspaper support, all of the leadership in the community, and I was challenging this guy. So I had a saying when I was on radio, stand up for what you believe in because you can fall for anything. And I would go door to door. I have my kids on one side of the street. I would be on the other, and I'd knock on doors. Hello, my name is Les Brown. Tell everybody I'm still standing. They get on the phone. Child, Les Brown was to my house today. You know the boy on the radio with the big mouth? Yeah, they fired him, honey. Say he's still standing. See, I'm saying just keep moving. Don't start feeling sorry for yourself. Don't spend time blaming and talking about what happened to you. See, whatever you talk about, that's what you multiply and expand in your life experience. So don't talk about stuff unless you want it to keep on happening to you, all right? So I got in that kind of action. As I continue to do that, had my children with me, we're going door to door, didn't have enough money. Eventually, we got close to the election and something happened that really surprised me. Guys who I thought were going to either support me or stay out of it, various powerful community leaders, they became involved in it and they endorsed my opponent. I felt devastated. Now that's going to happen to you when you're working on your dream. Things are going to happen that's going to catch you on the blind side. That was shocking to me. They didn't have to do that. All they had to do was just stay out of it. But here they go, come up in there messing with me. Now that's going to happen. There's some people who believe it's their personal business to stop you from living your dream, all right? But I didn't deal with that. You want to make your dream come true, you got to stay focused. Some people rather get even than get ahead. Stay focused on where you want to go. I just kept on doing what I was supposed to do. And so I was driving to the radio station. My opponent had over $20,000. I had less than $800. As I was in the radio station, the guy said, "You're going to make a commercial?" I said, "Yes." He said, "It better be a good one because that money can't go pretty far here." And I sat there in the middle control room and I was thinking, and here's what happens when you get still. Stuff will start coming. Something said, "Call your mama." You used to talk about your mother on the air all the time. Ask her to say a few words for you. That'll be a different kind of political spot. So I called my mama, and I had a gospel record playing in the background. And then I had my mother say, "Hello, this is Mrs. Mamie Brown. When I raised my sons, I raised them to be good children. When they got out of hand, I beat their behind and made them go right. Please vote for my son. He's a good boy." Usually in the state representative race, maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people will come out to vote in a primary. In that primary race, over 27,000 people came out and voted and said, "I'm voting for Les Brown because his mama said he's a good boy." I won, ladies and gentlemen. I won. So you've got to be willing to stay focused, to be creative, to be relentless, because things are going to happen to you when you're working on your dream. When you get on track. I remember when I first got involved in speaking, one of the main things that speakers like to do is speak to a certain association that they have over 10,000 of their sales reps that come to this convention. And I was relentless. I kept saying, "It's possible. It's possible." See, what I want to let you know and set you up for, because you say it's possible, don't mean that you're not going to have any problems. That Murphy's Law ain't going to come and slap you side the head. Old Murphy gonna come visit you. He's waiting for some of y'all out in the parking lot. Oh, you say it's possible. Okay, it's possible. You better get up. Well, I was working. I kept saying it's possible. They got other speakers on this program. I can be on that program too. I kept selling myself. I got all fired up. And I was calling them every day, every day. And the lady finally said, "Mr. Brown, I tell you what, we want you to come in and talk to our sales executives. You got the kind of fire and guts that they want that will motivate them. And let me tell you something else. We want you to bring your motivational tapes. You're going to need at least $50,000 worth of tapes." I said, "Is that right?" "Yes, because they want to keep that drive alive." I said, "All right." I called the guy to duplicate my tapes. I said, "Don, how you doing? This is Les. Let me tell you, I got a major speaking engagement." I said, "Man, it's a speaker's dream. I need over $50,000 worth of product." He said, "Les, you don't have that kind of credit." I said, "I know, but Don, I can sell that. Just right after speaking engagement, I'll give you your money in 4 days." He said, "Are you sure, Les?" I said, "Yes, man, I got a major speaking engagement, and they told me to do it." He said, "Man, that's a big order. Let me talk with the lady with you." I said, "Hold on just a minute, man." Call the lady back. "Hello, Evelyn, how you doing? This is Les Brown. I got Don on the phone. What did you say? Do I have the speaking engagement?" "Yes, you do." And what else you suggest? Les, our people, they buy a lot of tapes. Your tapes are very popular among them. I'm saying bring at least $50,000 worth of tapes, Les. You'll sell everything you got and more. I said, "Did you hear that, Don?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Now, if anybody else has to make a decision, are you the final person?" She said, "I'm the final person. I will send you the contract. I want you. I said, you hear that, Don? He said, yes. I said, oh, ye of little faith. I said, duplicate the tapes, man. Hung the phone up. Well, he duplicated the tapes. 1 week came by. I'm checking the mail every day. No contract. I said, come on, Murphy, don't start nothing, man. Come on. Come on, man, give me a break. Come on, you know, this ain't fair. Come on, man. Give your boy a break, come on. I talked to myself, you know. I didn't want to call him right now. 2 weeks passed by. Murphy said, don't you think you ought to call him? I said, okay. I called, I said, hello, this is Les Brown calling. How you doing, Les? I said, fine. I said, Evelyn hasn't sent my contract out yet. Any additional information you need? So, Les, you haven't heard? I said, no. I said, Evelyn died. I said, she died? I said, did she say anything about me? When I got home, I was so wiped out. And Murphy was in the house waiting on me. Murphy said, is it possible you want to listen to some of your tapes? But ladies and gentlemen, here's what I had to do. I had to begin to focus on what was the solution. That this was not the only place that I'll be able to sell those products. And as I began to challenge myself and got some help and support and some other input, I eventually did. It took longer, but it was challenging. But I did it. Repeat after me, please. No matter how bad it is, or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, you got that right. Repeat after me, please. It's possible. I can have my dream. I can get what I want. I must be creative and never give up.
Here's a thought that I want you to dwell on. Are you ready? I am healthy. I'm rich in relationships. Healthy in my body. I am healthy. I'm rich in relationships. Healthy in my body and my mind. Just say that constantly. In your body, in relationships, and in your mind. Yes, yes. Because when you start thinking, now here's what I did this morning. I talked to my superpower, my subconscious mind. I said, today is going to be the best day of my life. I'm going to do some exciting things. I'm going to help a lot of people today. Thank you, Lord, for using me as an instrument. Thank you for the miracles in relationships, in people, in ideas that's going to show up and lead me. All of life behind me. Now look, listen, follow me now. Look back and say, thank you. Look around. After you say, thank you, God, look around and say, praise God, I'm still here. And look at all these blessings looking at me. All these opportunities, these new relationships, people behind doors that I'm supposed to get into. Just look around and be thankful. I don't care where you are. If you're living under a bridge, be thankful. Because opportunities are watching you and waiting for you to recognize them. Don't buy into opportunity knocks on every door. No, it stands by silently, waiting for you to recognize it. Look around, and you're going to start seeing opportunities. You're going to start seeing people that can help you. Look around, train your mind to see what you want it to see. Look around and thank God. Go within. Spend minimum 3 times a day seeking God. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. And just say, thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the power. Thank you for giving me the presence of mind. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be your instrument. And look ahead and follow God. Look around, thank God. Look around, praise God. Go within, seek God. Look ahead and follow God. Speak, Lord. Thy servant heareth thee. You're going to get ideas. You will be led. Things are going to happen. You say, whoa, look at God. Yeah. Oh, this day here. I want you to think about your golden dream, and I'm going to work with you to make it happen. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, and I will be among you. What do you mean by that? Spirit, the spirit of winning will be with you. The spirit of God will be with you. There's a presence, there's an energy that will be with you as you make choices. As you have this mindset, this spirit of optimism, that good things, great things about to happen to me. Call forth those things that be not as though they were. Listen to me. Listen to me. This is the best and the first day of your life. Think about it and marinate in that. Have a spirit of optimism in the belly of challenges and adversities, in the throes and the embrace of all types of disadvantages and challenges that have come your way to take advantage of you, to rob you of your peace, your love, and your harmony. In the midst of all that, I know God is real. In the midst of all that, I know he's still here. He is real. I might be on the verge of being foreclosed on or going through an eviction or set my stuff out on the streets, but there's a mansion waiting for me to occupy. And I'm standing on that. Hold a vision of what you see. Hold a vision. Discipline yourself. Faith, not tested, can't be trusted. You're only being tested. This is your time. This is your time. When I review my life, everything I achieved, it was coming out of an adverse situation. Adverse situation. And had I not been fired from radio, I would have never became a state legislator. Everything that when I look back, some things happened to you, but really, they meant it for evil. God meant it for good. It really happened for you. And the goal is to be steadfast. Therefore, you take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day. Yes, stand strong. Stand in your power. You're made in the likeness and image of God. Stand in your power. You've been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. Stand in your power.